Hey, all right. If you are struggling with love, then I've got you with Valentine's Day around the corner. It's just a couple days away this week. This is a great time to talk about love and relationships. So I'm really excited. We are going to talk about the key to a great relationship. Where do we start building that foundation from? And what stops us from both giving and from getting and receiving love? So you won't believe what the answers are to those questions. So stay tuned. We are the Deb Show. It's the your daily energy bite. And we're live at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every weekday. We are trying to help you to create the health of your dreams. And yes, love and relationships are part of a healthy lifestyle. We are conditioned as humans for love. We need love. We are creatures of community, and it's very important that we have love. So let's get started. So we're going to cover mastering relationships. We're going to cover self-love because that is the number one key. We'll talk about intimate relationships, which is also really important. It's a special kind of relationship. And then we're going to be in the kitchen. And I think for love, it's all about the chocolate, or at least some of it has to be about the chocolate. So we are going to be doing some chocolate in the kitchen. And of course, it will be whole food, plant-based, nutrient dense, which is good for you. So it's not about the milk chocolate that you can get at the store. This is good chocolate that you can feel good about eating. It's not about junk food. All right. So as we dive in, I want to tell you a little bit of a story, if that's okay for me. So I have 4 kids, and I remember the time, beautiful kids, by the way. I remember a time when I was pregnant with my second daughter, and having my first daughter brought me so much unexpected love and joy that I didn't even realize I had in me. It was just almost sometimes overwhelming, the love that I felt for this child. And so here I am, pregnant with daughter number 2, and I realized I had this thing going. I think a lot of mothers have this thing running through their head is, well, if I have 2, do I have enough love for both of my kids? And so this is kind of what was going through my head. Well, after I had daughter number 2, I realized that I had more than enough love for my kids. Definitely more than enough love to go around. And this is when I found that love is actually infinite. We have infinite abundance of love, and so that was what I realized. And so, of course, then I had to have 2 more kids. So I ended up with 4 beautiful daughters who are all grown up now, and the joy of my life still. So while we consider love to be abundant and boundless and infinite, as I just mentioned, many of us also struggle with our fears and insecurities about love, which inhibits us from actually being able to express our love unconditionally. We struggle. I know I've struggled with love in the past. Um, at one time I had this crazy idea that love was something to be guarded. We should guard our love. And if you feel this way, or if you felt that way, like I felt, there's nothing wrong with you. It comes from a lot of the conditioning that we had as children. And so we will talk about that as we go through today's session. But a lot of the conditioning comes from when we were, little kids, before we were 5, before we even remember. So, and yet love is something that we all seek. When you're a baby, you need love, and there's this thing called failure to survive syndrome. And what that is when babies aren't getting love, they aren't getting the touching, the holding, being talked to and sung to, and all those things that create love, they actually have trouble meeting their needs to actually survive. So we need love. It's part of the human condition, is we need love. So we're going to dive into that. So, hey, how are you guys doing? I know today was a bit of a struggle getting started because this is what happens when you go live, right? is yeah. So my computer, I had reinstalled a new version of my operating system. All great, and everything was fine last week. But when I went to get in today, I was missing my browser. So it took me a few minutes to kind of get that sorted out. But we're here now. Glad to have you on board as we talk about love and relationships today. All right. So we're going to start with what is the wrong way to get love. So we all want to get love. So what's the wrong way to do it? If you are trying to get love by giving some of your love away, then this is where you're going to get into trouble, because we have no right to expect anything from anybody else. We have no right to expect that if we give love to someone that they're going to return it. Love is actually unconditional. And so what does that mean? It's that you cannot put your model of the world, your rules, how you think love should be on somebody else. It has to be unconditional. So you give love, and you can't expect anything in return. You can't expect that people are going to follow your rules. And so I'm going to tell you a story, and don't judge me on this, okay? This is no judgment in this session. So
judgment-free zone. Judgment-free zone.
It's judgment-free. So I watch TV with my beautiful daughters sometimes, and there's one of the shows that they watch is 90 Day Fiance, there's basically the gist of the show is people have met from different countries, and they are going to settle in the US, and they have 90 days once they get their visa, their 90-day fiance visa, to be able to get married. And so, this is all about the struggles, and I look at it as like almost like a teaching session where I can look at kind of what other people are doing and critique, if you will, where they're coming from when I'm watching this show, because inevitably the people have what a lot of us do, what most of us do, is that they treat love as being conditional. So they'll be the person that has just uprooted their life to come to the United States. They can't work, they can't do anything, and they're like, they've sacrificed everything they had at home. They've left their friends and their family behind to move to the US. And so they're in their heads, they are owed something, that the person should be grateful and love them because they've done this for them. And then you've got the person who's from the US thinking, I'm doing everything. I have to be the breadwinner. I've given you a place to live. I've paid for all this expenses around this. And so here you've got these two people with mismatched expectations, because one of them is, and they are both bringing their own conditional love into the relationship. And inevitably, what it ends up doing is there's a lot of fighting. And that makes for good TV, I know. It's true, these people are in a situation where, again, they're looking at their model of the world and what they've done, and they've given love away, but they're expecting something back. They're expecting appreciation back. And of course, people don't always see it that way because they're looking from their model of the world, and it's different. So something to keep in mind. And so love itself is unconditional. Remember that. You cannot expect that you're going to get something in return if you give love. So we're going to just talk about that a little bit, and we're going to do a love-o-meter. All right. So our love-o-meter is on a scale of 1 to 10. And let's say that you are on the love-o-meter, you are sitting at a 3. So not very good from the love perspective, okay? And so if you give somebody some love, you're going to be sitting at a 2. And you can't get that love back from them because remember, love is unconditional. You have no right to expect anything back from the other person. So now you're sitting at a 2 and you're basically depleted yourself and you don't really have that much love to give. So what we really should be doing is, again, I said love is abundant, we should be raising our love-o-meter to a 10 and be overflowing with love. And then if we give love to the other person, it doesn't matter if we get it back or not because we're overflowing with abundance of love. So how do you get your love-o-meter to be at a 10 or more and overflowing?
That's
Anyone
what I was
have any
thinking.
ideas
I
how
was
you would do
thinking.
that?
The only, and this one is you just don't care. You know
No.
what I mean? Like it's like you don't put stock in that.
Yeah.
It's like if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But
Yeah.
is that too simplistic?
Yeah, you have to detach yourself for sure. That's how you get unconditional love, right? Is to detach yourself from the outcome. You don't care about the outcome. But we do want to raise our love-o-meter to
Yes.
be abundant. The only way to do that is self-love. So we're back to self-love. I know we talked about that before, so we're talking about it again, because that's, if you want to be in a position to be in a relationship where you're giving love to someone else, you need to have an overflow of love yourself, which means you need to love yourself. That's the best way to do it. And so one of the things what stops us from giving ourselves self-love. So it's like, and it's a problem, right? I know I felt it. I can say, raise my hand where I depleted my love and not, put my own feelings and my own love for myself to the back of the bus for my family, for other people. And this is not a good thing. It's like, when you go to when you go on an airplane, they tell you that if the oxygen mask comes down, you need to give yourself oxygen first before you administer it to somebody else with you, like your child or somebody who's incapacitated. And it's the same thing with love. We need to give ourselves love. So if you take anything from anything that I'm saying, we really do need to think about self-love. Now, why do we not run our stock down? And so there's more than one way, but I'm just going to talk about one right now. And this goes back to before we can even remember. And when I think about it, it makes so much sense. But I was a parent and I didn't realize that I was imposing conditional love on my kids. And my parents didn't realize it's something that's perpetuated in our, just in the way that we raise our kids for the most part. So when a baby is when a baby is up, maybe up to about 18 months to 2 years, they are helpless, and they're also egotistical. And that's not nothing wrong with that. But what it means is that if the baby were to need to eat, they're not going to think about you at 3 o'clock in the morning when they want to eat. They're going to cry, and they're going to be looking for you to meet their needs. And so, of course, as parents, even even if we're frustrated and we're tired, we still unconditionally love our baby. And I know when my oldest daughter didn't sleep a lot in the night, she could stay up all night being fussy and all that stuff. And it would get to the point where we would get so frustrated, but but when we would see her sleeping, all that love would just come back again, thankfully. So we do have that unconditional love. And the other example is, when you're getting ready to go to work and you got your best suit on or your best clothes on, and you're holding the baby and the baby spits up, you get the spit up on the shoulder. Well, you don't stop loving the baby, right? That's you still love the baby. But then in around 18 months to 2 years, things start to change because we start having a two-way communication with our child. And they learn yes and no. So for sure they learn no. And so when they do something that you like, something that you would say is a yes, they're, I don't know, putting their own toys away or whatever it is, we're all excited and happy, and they perceive that love that you're giving for that. But when it's a no, and it may be it's no because you don't want them to, they can't cross the street, there's some danger there, and you say no, it's something that means danger, and you're saying it because you love them, but the baby is perceiving that as taking love away. And so our model of the world, unbeknownst to any of us, is being we are perceiving that their love is conditional by all of these things that happen before we even remember, because most people don't remember anything before they're about 5 years old. Some do. I know for me, my first memory is about 5 years old. So you can imagine we've already set the stage for conditional love before we even remember. So it's like, where are you going to go from there? It is what it is. Now I think the thing is that we kind of get to this point where we don't love ourselves. We focus. So what we do is we focus on trying to give love to others by trying to fit the pictures of what we think they are going to do to love us. So again, this is all about conditional love, and that doesn't work in the long term. It might work short term, but it's not going to work in the long term. And so now we need to look at self-love. And so when you look at yourself in the mirror, do you see your greatness or do you see your flaws? Man, I know it's easy enough to see the flaws. And probably I think that's an easy reaction for most people. So when a couple of years ago, my youngest daughter and I went out for lunch. We were having this really nice lunch at this vegan burger. It's a vegan burger place. And, we're having lunch, and I said to her, I didn't even realize that what I was saying, but I said to her, oh, I'm not very good at, I'm not very photogenic. I don't take good pictures, and I'm not good at videos and stuff. And she stopped me right there and said, Mom, stop the negative self-talk. And I didn't even realize I was doing it. So this is something to pay attention. Are you doing negative self-talk? And this is just something that we probably do without even realizing we're doing. So what we say, how we say it, is very important, and something that we need to remember, because yeah, I wasn't very good at it, but I didn't have, now I realize that I wasn't, those were things that, one, I'm very critical of myself and not giving myself a break, not giving myself the self love that I should give myself. But also, I didn't think, my kids are dancers, so they learned how to have poise and grace on all this stuff. We go anywhere and they know how to pose like nothing because they're used to it. They go on stage and stuff, but I wasn't doing any of that. So yeah, for me, I have a learning curve, and so now I giving myself self-love, and I'm saying to myself, I'm proud of myself because I'm here. I'm talking to everyone here, and just being able to present my message by getting on video and social media. That's a big step for me. And I'm now proud of myself for doing that. And you can't take that away from me. So we are going to now see the next step for us is to work on our love-o-meter. So tomorrow we are going to talk about ways we can get that love-o-meter up and get us to have love and be able to give love from our overflow. So that's what we have on store for tomorrow. And then Wednesday, which is Valentine's Day, we are going to be doing something in the kitchen, some kind of chocolate, healthy chocolate. All right. Any questions about what we talked about today or comments before I give you some homework?
No questions at this time.
All right. Some of it, to me seems pretty self-explanatory, but it's, something I think we have to remind ourselves of on occasion because it's easy to forget. All right. So for tonight, if you could think about ways that you can practice self-love every day, and we will talk more about that tomorrow. So we will be here tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live on the for your daily energy bite, the Deb Show. And if you have any questions or comments, send me an email, a DM, however you can get to me. And we are signing off. See you the same time, same channel tomorrow. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.